Hi, I'm Lonnie Ward. Over the past 15 years, I've worked in countries battling extreme poverty, meeting incredible people, and learning life-changing lessons. Now, I'm here to share their stories and a few of my own with you. I can't wait to take you along. When I think about the people or groups that have inspired me, my mind always goes to Elisabeth Zapeta and the women of the Jesus es Amor cooperative in the plains of Peru. Not far from the Pacific Ocean, there's a small community called Pampa de los Silva. The first time I visited the area, I was struck by the stark beauty of the landscape contrasted with abject poverty. The sun blazed relentlessly overhead, casting long shadows over the dry earth. Dust rose in small swirls as the wind swept through the plains, carrying with it the sharp scent of the arid land. But beneath this dryness, irrigation canals crisscrossed the terrain, bringing life to the land. The once barren desert was broken up by patches of flooded rice fields, a testament to the long, hard labor that made this transformation possible. The air was hot, so hot it felt as though it could burn your skin if you weren't careful. Yet, in the distance, the mighty Andes stood tall, their peaks dusted with snow, a reminder that this was a land of contrast, where extremes coexist in harmony. The vegetation here is sparse, with only the hardiest of plants managing to survive the arid conditions. Among them is the toquilla, a plant that thrives in the harsh, dry soil. It grows in tight clumps, its long, palm-like leaves reaching toward the sky, a symbol of resilience in a land that offers little to the unprepared. In the distance, I could hear the sound of livestock, goats and cattle, grazing on what little grass they could find. The heat of the day was relentless, but the evenings brought a welcome coolness as the sun dipped behind the mountains. It was a harsh, unforgiving place, but there was a kind of quiet strength in the land, much like the people who called it home. We were invited there by the women of the area. When we first arrived, the resources were scarce, and opportunities for women were even scarcer. The people of the area depended on subsistence farming, growing just enough crops to keep themselves clothed and fed. The daily lives of the women revolved around supporting their husbands in the fields, with little to no independent income of their own. The women were given ducks by a different nonprofit organization with the intention that they could begin raising them and selling them at the market to begin making a profit that would improve their livelihoods. But as unfortunately happens in many cases, they were given the ducks, posed for photos, and then the organization left, leaving them without the proper training or tools necessary to actually succeed in raising the livestock. This not only didn't help their situation, but gave them an additional worry and new problems to contend with. However, the women were determined to succeed. Realizing that they were underqualified to handle the challenges with their livestock, they reached out to us for technical assistance. As we started working with the group, we quickly recognized their ambition, eagerness, and willingness to learn and grow. After receiving the proper training, it was no time at all before their duck production had taken off. Their success in selling the ducks at market provided enough income for the women to pay for their children's school fees, buy supplies, and improve their families' diets. But still the women could see there was more room to improve. Later they recognized that if they processed the ducks, harvesting and preparing them for sale as ready-to-cook poultry, they could increase their profit margin significantly. On market days, they would wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, slaughter the ducks, pluck the feathers, and meticulously clean each bird to ensure they were ready for sale. Some of the women even started preparing and cooking the duck meat to sell at the market, adding even more value to their product. All of this work was accomplished before the trip to the market and the long day of selling in the stall. This small but powerful change further transformed their income. Some of the women had also been weaving using a local straw called toquilla fiber. They taught themselves to create beautiful baskets, purses, table centerpieces, anything they could imagine. Initially, they sold these at the local community market. Seeing this opportunity, Other women in the cooperative began learning the craft, and over time, the group's focus gradually shifted from duck farming to weaving. By 2018, weaving had become a significant part of their work. This shift turned out to be a blessing when COVID-19 hit in 2020, making it difficult to continue duck farming. The market shutdowns made it hard to buy feed and sell the ducks, but the weaving provided a steady income that required less in-person interaction. Their ability to adapt ensured that their cooperative remained strong even during a global crisis. By 2022, their weaving skills had reached such a high level that they were invited to showcase their work at a regional fair. For a small rural village, this recognition was a monumental achievement. It provided them with a much larger market to sell their handcrafted goods, further securing their economic independence. At that point, the women had been working from home or renting a small space behind a store, but they needed something of their own. They approached us about acquiring land and building a dedicated workspace. With their hard-earned funds, they purchased land, and with the help of expedition groups from Choice Humanitarian, they were able to construct a proper facility. Now they have a beautiful building where they can weave together, sharing skills, ideas, and support. Their journey was about more than just economic growth. Many of the women had started out illiterate, and as part of their cooperative, they began literacy classes. Today, every single woman in the group can read. Even some of the older women, who had never been given the chance to learn before, are now reading with excitement and pride. It's a testament to their determination and resilience. In 2024, their success was recognized on an even larger scale when Choice Humanitarian featured them at a gala event. They packed up 4 large tubs of their woven items, which were used as centerpieces for tables and then sold as part of the fundraiser. Their craftsmanship and determination were showcased to an audience that may never have otherwise known about their incredible journey. Reflecting on their progress, I am in awe. They didn't just raise ducks. They learned business strategies, expanded into new markets, and ultimately transformed their entire community. Each step of the way, they added value to their work, whether by processing ducks, mastering the art of weaving, or building a permanent workspace. They learned to negotiate, to market their products, and to dream bigger than they ever had before. As I reflect on the journey of Elisabeth and the women of the Amor cooperative, I realize how much their perseverance has taught me. They demonstrated an unwavering commitment to growth, refusing to settle for their circumstances. They could have accepted the limitations placed upon them, but instead, they chose to push forward, learning new skills, refining their craft, and constantly seeking ways to improve. Their journey was never about mere survival. It was about progress, about taking pride in their work while never growing complacent. They refused to let their circumstances define them, and through their dedication, they didn't just change their own lives, they transformed an entire community. I find myself wondering, am I doing the same? Am I pushing myself to grow, to be better than I was yesterday? Their story reminds me that true success comes not from reaching a single milestone, but from the relentless pursuit of something greater. Like them, I want to take pride in who I am while never growing complacent, always striving to be more, to do more, and use my talents to elevate the people around me. As I think back to the dry, arid climate of Peru and the toquilla plants that fight to grow despite the harsh climate, I see how much the tenacity of the land mirrors the spirit of its people. Despite every obstacle, they do more than survive. They flourish, sending roots deep into the earth and stretching toward the sky, proving that perseverance is not just a choice, but the essence of life itself. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who'd love these stories too. To learn more or connect with me, visit lonnieward.com. Until next time, be the change.